Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United, the National League, are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. I'm calling it the midweek treat. Don't know if that's going to stick or not, but anyway, that's what it's called for now. Joining me tonight is Dan from Gandermonium in a wonderful bit of perfect planning. We've done basically a Dallas Dynasty crossover. So I've gone on the blog and he's come on the podcast. And hi Dan, how are you?
Only polite when you said, it was going to be a monologue. I thought, well, he's done the blog. I'll have to help him out. He'll pay me back.
It was going to turn into a therapy session after watching the game the other night. Sit here rocking for an hour. I was checking how long the stream quality would last for, but yeah. So you didn't make the Papa John's. I know, as said before, different people got different feelings on it. I think. As was
in my defence, it was mostly work. It's mostly work that's kept me away from all the home games. The only one I was able to do was Pompey, and that's because I booked the day off, so I didn't get lumbered with anything. So that's the only one I've been able to actually physically get to.
I feel
I
you may
like
be laying the ground. Yeah, you're laying the groundwork for the excuse of, no.
Yeah.
I always wanted a trip to Wembley. I love this competition.
Of course, absolutely. Get to the final, front of the queue for a ticket. Don't worry about that.
Absolutely, yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'll be honest. The Wimbledon one was literally just because I had a free evening and the tickets were quite cheap, so I quickly jumped on it. But yeah, very quickly. On the other night, I know it's covered lots and lots of places, but it was a bit of a dire game. It was very, very dull, and we huffed and puffed, and so did they. I think I've covered most of it. The detail of the substitutions
with those games, it's difficult because everyone's trying to give new, lads coming from injuries or lads who maybe haven't had a lot of football lately. They're just trying to get them some minutes in the legs but still have a competitive side out. And sometimes when you make it, I think they made 7 or 8 changes from what someone was saying. So when you make that many changes, you're always going to struggle for a bit of consistency on the pitch.
Absolutely.
I wasn't amazed when it finished 0-0.
The time when I realised I had to concentrate was when Louis went off and then suddenly Enzio came on for him. And I'm like, hang on,
where's he gonna go?
This is going to cause a bit of a head scratcher. What's going on here? And then I kind of finally sussed out who was going where, and I was like, oh, that makes sense now. I've seen it. But yeah, it was an odd one. I mean, I put in the wonderful blog entry.
It's top quality. Top quality. Everyone, Gandermonium.com. Go and check it out when we're done. Actually, straight after this.
But it was highlighted. One of their players, a very short period of time towards the end, one of their players beat a couple of ours on the box, weaved through, and we were all like, oh, and he shot horribly wide. And then Tance did almost the same thing in the middle of the penalty area, and he ran through and left the ball behind him. And it was like, yeah, okay. If that had happened in the first 5 minutes, I would have just gone home because I would have known that this was going to be that night. But the penalty shootout was exciting. We haven't had one of those for a long time, and certainly haven't won one of those for a long time. I think there's differing opinions. We've got some 2003s and 2001s. I think someone said 2012, but I'm not 100% sure.
We did have one of the last one I can remember is Wingate at home in the trophy.
Yeah,
we lost.
Yeah, we had the one in Ireland, obviously, but
of course, yeah.
We didn't really care about that. Yeah,
no, that didn't hurt at all.
We'd had enough. But yeah, so it was an interesting one. I would normally ask someone, well, normally last week, so for the Sutton Podcast Player of the Day, the pod. You weren't there, so I get to choose. It was Dean. There's not a lot you can say. He saved 3 penalties, one after the other, kept us in it. Not much more we can say. So I'm going to send out a lovely tweet, and I'm sure Dean will be thrilled with it. He's not even on Twitter, so he's going to be even more delighted.
You need to set up an Instagram account. He's definitely on Insta.
I have got Insta, but I don't really do an awful lot on it. But yeah, so looking forward very quickly, I'm going to let the other chap who's waiting very patiently for us, Tommy from Bristol Rovers. And 1 second, hi Tommy. Tom, sorry.
How's it going?
Not bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
No worries. So you are from the Bristol Rovers Gas podcast.
Gascast, yeah, that's right.
Gascast, sorry. And just a little bit, I sent him a message saying I was going to be live, so you better brush your hair. And then only afterwards did I realise that he doesn't know who I am and he doesn't know why I say I brush my hair on these things. So it's completely wasted when text joke. And also, in utter fairness, this other fellow that's on with us now, Dan, is the one you really want to be sending those kind of messages to. I was asked to contribute, and I assumed it was a collation of answers. Well, I would have answered with a lot more detail if I had realised it was just me. So hopefully you won't give just one-word answers to repay me.
No, won't be able to shut me up. No worries about
that. But yeah, we're looking forward to Saturday. Just going to ask, what's your sort of connection to Bristol? How have you started supporting them? Bristol Rovers, sorry.
Yeah, born and bred Bristolian. I've only been a season ticket holder since about 2016 when I stopped kind of playing football myself. Not to any good standard. That's not me bragging or anything. I just, watching football on a Saturday and playing on a Sunday, the missus wasn't going to have it. So now I'm a bit too old for the football. So it's just pure Rovers. And, in Bristol, kind of South Bristol is more them, and North Bristol's and kind of East Bristol is more Rovers. So I'm from East Bristol, so it's always going to be Rovers. There's never any doubt on that one.
Well, to be fair, Dan and I are probably only season ticket holders from a season or two before that, because Sutton didn't really do them that much before that. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I never really bothered until sort of probably 2005 or something.
Oh yeah, so
just because it was non-league and it was 10 quid, so no one bothered. You got like one free game and that was it. So no one bothered.
Yeah. Then they did a £99 offer, and it was like,
and everyone was
like, yeah, I'll have that. So how's the season going so far for you?
Mixed bag, I'd say. We had obviously we were relegated from League One last season under Joey Barton. How much of that actually was his fault is, very much up for debate. We went through 3 managers last season, so I think he got a bit of a hospital pass with the squad he inherited. He decided to tear all that up in the summer, so it was always going to be kind of a slow start for us. But we have shown in like fits and starts that there's a really good team there. We're really good against the teams around us, but then anyone kind of above about 10th, we just absolutely fall apart. It's which I mean is great news for you guys.
Yeah, I'm liking this so far.
Yeah, but the FA Cup, I mean, has probably produced one of our best performances. We went away to Oxford and we kind of scabbed a bit of a draw there, to be honest. But the home game, Tuesday night under the lights, that's the FA Cup I really enjoy. We're 3-1 down going into the second half of extra time, thinking this is pretty much it. A lot of my mates had gone off to the pub, came back, won it 4-3, just unbelievable pandemonium. Going back to the pub after, seeing my mates absolutely heartbroken because they've just missed one of like the best comebacks of all time. So from my perspective, I kind of separate the cup from the league. And if I look at just the cup, yeah, we've been great. But the league, not so much. After that Oxford game, we had Tranmere at home. We were 2-0 up and we let that slip to 2-2. We went away to Salford, 1-0 up. They had 2 men sent off. We contrived somehow to draw that 1-1. And then just gone, we played Forest Green away and had the inevitable 2-0 defeat. So form-wise, not great, but I'm fully separating league from cup. And cup, we are absolutely amazing.
Cup side.
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I saw one of your supporters was a little while ago now saying that they were delighted they saw that they'd drawn Sutton in the cup, and they were like, "Oh, great, a nice proper non-league side," and then they've kind of realised that actually they're above us.
yeah.
Sudden-
I made the exact same mistake. I was like, oh, if we can get past Oxford, then we. But also, before that we had a habit of going out at home to non-league teams. We did it with a few, and it was just really frustrating. But now you're in the league, maybe that will change.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, I'm fairly convinced. I was going down. Sorry.
It's no surprise people still think we're a non-league side. I think most of us still haven't quite got our heads around the League Two stuff yet. So
I think you coined it of bringing non-league to the football league.
yeah, bringing non-league to the masses.
Yes, exactly.
To the masses. I like that.
We were. I was walking the dog actually on the night you were playing, and I was kind of following it. And I'm fairly convinced there were quite a few supporters trying to get their early tickets to Oxford, because we obviously knew we were playing the winners away. So I'm fairly convinced a few people were like, "Let me get those train tickets," and now going,
Yeah.
"Oh God, no!" But yeah, that must have been just. I mean, we've had a league game with Port Vale where we were 2 down, 2-2, 3-2 down, and then we come back to win it 4-3, and that was, well, it was part of the bewildering, awesome, wonderful moments of our season. So I was going to ask highs and lows because I've got little bullet points to ask. I'm very professional on this, by the way. I'm brilliant. If there are any of your players that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, there's surprisingly quite a few. We have got a few really, really good players. I think Sam Nicholson would be the standout one, but I do believe he's injured, which is a massive shame because he is unbelievable at this level. He's just absolutely ridiculous. Very good, like low center of gravity. That kind of like, I don't want to say messy, but you know what I mean? Like just that kind of will run at people. He's brilliant. Anthony Evans is another one. He kind of he was like the Everton under 23s, like captain, looking like he's going to make it, and kind of went out into, I don't know, just almost out of football. He went over to Germany and played there and wasn't all that good. Came back to England and we didn't really have high expectations of him. Another Scouser that Joey's recruited, and he's been unbelievable. Like his kind of vision and his footwork is fantastic. And then I think so Nicholson's very much a goal threat. Evans is more of an assist king. He's got a few goals to his game as well. And then Sam Finley we got him from Fleetwood, obviously Joey Barton's ex-club. He is way too good for this level, proper terrier in midfield, and he's got an eye for a pass. He can kind of do a bit of everything, and he's popped up with a couple of goals. He scored one of the ones against Oxford. So I'd say those are like kind of the real standout players for us, and it's no surprise they're all fairly attacking players because our defence is leaky as hell. So our best players are definitely going forward. If we can get the ball going forward and keep it up there, we're all right. But once it starts coming back, that's when we start getting in trouble.
Right. Okay. I'm thinking my prediction might be slightly off now. Dan, do you want to do the same for us? Who you'd be saying is the?
Well, I suppose you've got most people look at David Ajiboye out wide. He's always the one who catches the eye for us. Just old school winger, flying down. Takes men on, can go outside, can come deep, and run at you from there as well. You got Isaac Olafe Tanto up front. Similar sort of little centre forward, again very direct. And then at the back you've got, I suppose, Ben Goodliff as well has been stat this year for us. Barely put a foot wrong. But then again, he was like that last year with Louis as well at the centre of defence. And yeah, I suppose our lad who's too good to be playing for us is Craig Eastman in the middle. He just makes us tick. We're just a different side out him. He's got so much experience. Since we've come up, just sitting there watching him, it's just he's way too good for us. But he's too old now, so no one will buy him.
Well, speaking of old, we've got Glenn Whelan. Remember him of Stoke fame?
Oh,
We
no.
got him in the middle. He is ancient. He is really old.
Yeah, I was going to say Johnny Williams didn't do too bad against us either, did he?
Yeah, ripped us a new one for Swindon. So, but then again, he's a different level, wasn't he?
Yeah. So I certainly don't know an awful lot about Joey Barton, other than what you heard as a player. So obviously going into management, you kind of think, oh God, that's going to be an interesting one. Does he do many press conferences with the French accent, or?
Like, he hasn't even come up with like a Bristolian accent yet.
Has he
He's
not?
still like pure Scouse. So give it a few months maybe, because he is living in Bristol. So maybe he'll kind of come with it. But so when he was at Fleetwood, he got them into the playoffs on obviously quite a limited budget, and that kind of caught the eye of a few people. He was out of work when we employed him, and I think because he'd fallen out with his ex-chairman over Ched Evans. So he kind of was out of work. We needed a manager because we just sacked Paul Tisdale, and he was the man for the job, kind of thing. His management style is abrasive. He's not afraid to call people out in the press. So last season, like I said, we got relegated. He kind of joined after January, so we had no chance he could make any changes. So he stuck with those players, and he made a point of calling several of them out publicly in his press conferences. And I'm kind of like, is that, you need to motivate these lads to keep us up, and you are slagging them off quite harshly. Max Amo, who's gone back to Gillingham, was probably the biggest one he pulled up, and he's done it again this season. He's not. There's a fine line between calling people out for bad behaviour and then just kind of scapegoating them. I think that's what he did with Amo last season. This season, Luke Thomas, we've got him on loan from Barnsley. He's extremely gifted as a footballer. It's just not really at the pace of the game at the moment. He's shown bits and bobs. He's obviously got talent, but he's not been there. And Barton came out, what are we on today, Wednesday, last week, basically slagging him off, just saying his attitude's terrible. He's barely been in shape. And we tried to ring up Barnsley to send him back before the season started, but they wouldn't pick up the phone, so we're stuck with him. And I'm thinking, if you're stuck with him, why are you slagging him off in public? So it's a very odd one. And obviously, he's got his court cases and all that kind of stuff. But even without that, some of his press conferences, some of his comments have been quite bizarre. He often talks about Rovers being his Everest. He loves his analogies, especially around climbing. But he did make a very unfortunate comment, or very stupid comment, comparing one of our players' performances to a Holocaust.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, that made the Nationals.
That upset a few people.
That upset quite
Funny
a few
enough.
people. Yeah, because is it Carlton Cole's done it this week as well?
Oh God!
But he
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
you nip it in the bud. You apologise straight away. When you've done something like that, you say, "Do you know what? That heat at the moment, blah blah blah. I'm really sorry." He let it go on for like a week till his next press conference, and I was like, "Why?" It's like he's doing it to antagonize people intentionally. I've never had such stress thinking about what's going to come out the mouth of a Rovers manager. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's great for us. We've all got stuff to talk about, but still, oh my God.
We don't have anything like that. Well, Matt.
Matt's-
Couldn't imagine him, could you? One of our players could.
Matt's pretty laid back, yeah.
I mean, literally, one of our players could come out and have a crap on the pitch, and Matt would absolutely defend him and say, "Yeah, he's a wonderful bloke." And yeah, he's totally different to that. You can't even imagine it. Wow. But yeah, I'm sure it doesn't help the listening.
Yeah,
I know he likes to shout on the touchline, so I don't know. It could be quite interesting on Saturday.
Yeah.
If it gets a bit feisty.
Yeah, he's certainly he likes to shout, he's one to get involved with the other bench as well. I'm against Salford actually. One of the players at the first sending off was kind of one of those where he kind of slightly overreached, a little bit out of control, over the ball a little bit. It could have gone away with a yellow, but the referee's seen it. He's obviously got a better position than I have. And as he's coming off, Joey's saying you can see him motioning to him like, "Oh, I don't think that was a red," because obviously he was such a dirty player anyway. He was just like, oh, like, oh, and I thought he was just winding him up, and that's the kind of manager he is. I think the best thing I've seen Barton do on the touchline was against Oxford. We're 4-3 up, just holding on. There's a couple of minutes of extra injury time left, and the ball comes over to him, and he just absolutely leathers it into the crowd as far as he can kick it, and then he gets booked, and he didn't care. He's just wasted another 30 seconds. It was fantastic.
I could see our two doing that.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I was just thinking. I'm not sure he's going to want to get too tangled with our bench, considering you got
both grizzled old centre backs.
Yeah,
the Mitchell brothers.
Bald. Yeah, he might take a second look and go, "Nah, you're."
Yeah,
right.
there could be a bit of barking and then sort of a. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with a bit of
where they
shout.
are, yeah.
So, what I like to do, or I've done, as I say, 1 week now, so it's now tradition. I have a little prediction. Last week, me and my guests were way off. I already said for you 1-0 to us, which talking about the leaky defences and what the good strikers I'm very much want to go back on, but I'm going to stick with my 1-0. Dan, what's your prediction?
I don't know. It's one of those.
It's
It's typical. This is the thing. It's one of the ones like that. They've had a couple of good results in the cup. They've had the good result in the cup over Oxford. They're both good results, but not been great in the league. So
there's no money prize. Just
I know. I'd be happy. You know what? I'd be happy with a draw. I'd take a draw and
give me a score line.
1-0. I think what will be key for us is who's playing at centre back for us.
Yeah,
because we might be missing one there. So I think that might be the difference. If it's the regular back four, I think we'll perform well. But yeah, I'll take a draw 1-0.
Excellent. And Tom?
So definitely both teams to score. We have rarely kept a clean sheet and rarely not scored so far this season. We always tend to grab one and concede at least one. So I think I'm going to go 2-1 Rovers based purely on the fact Saturday in the cup, I think the crowd are going to just be so up for it, and I think that will make a big difference. The crowd at the Mem does really help us. So I just think we'll squeak it. I know you guys are flying high and all that, but the cup just nullifies all of that. So I'm going to go heart over head and say 2-1 Rovers.
We did have a bit of a mare last night with injuries. We potentially lost another centre back. Went off injured. Our reserve goalkeeper was injured, and second choice left back. So we got through to the last 16 in the Pizza Cup, but we lost 3 players. But yeah, so between the three of us, we've gone for home win, draw, and away win. So couldn't possibly sit on the fence anymore. Well done, guys.
Every base covered.
Splinters all. Yeah, it's going to be like a 6-6 draw or something.
I could see it. You guys coming down up to Bristol?
Dan,
we'll be there. We've got train tickets sorted, so as per normal for us, we'll be local from about 11. So just so we can admire the locale before the match, mostly from the inside of pubs.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is it. This is one of the good things. I wish I was an away fan at Rovers, because the pubs along Gloucester Road are amazing. Like if you like ale or sports bars or whatever, it's one of the highlights of the location we are, because we're quite far out from the centre, probably about a 40-minute walk. But you do have basically Gloucester Road is just one long road of all pubs. So take your pick.
We'll be somewhere around there.
And what's the accident?
Because obviously we've got the league game on. Yeah. We've got the league game on Boxing Day, so everyone was kind of, getting down there is going to be a real pain. So the day out kind of thing was a bit in the balance, but then got you in the cup, so everyone's like, who cares about Boxing Day now? Just turn up, drive down, get in and out. This one's out.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, gents, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone for listening. I'm just going to do the end video, which obviously people listening aren't going to see that, so I don't know why I say it's a video. But thank you very much. I'll see you all soon. hope it's a great game on Saturday. Obviously, I hope it goes our way. But if it's a draw, then we'll have another one at our place. So thanks a lot, gents. See you soon. Thank you.
Lovely. Cheers.
Cheers.
United!